So let's review this congruence practice worksheet. And the first question is a little ambiguous, but we'll get to the bottom of it. Write 3 value congruency statements given the triangles below. So the way I read this is I'm going to write 3 different congruent statements for these 2 triangles. We notice from the diagrams that all the angles have a corresponding angle in the other one and the other triangle that is congruent. We also notice that every side has a corresponding side in the other triangle that is congruent. So these 2 triangles are congruent. All the angles, all the sides are congruent. Awesome. So we can write a congruent statement about that. And I'm going to start off with a nice easy one. I'm just going to say triangle PTW is congruent to triangle HGD. Now, why did I pick that one first? Well, triangle PTW. P has 1 arc. Angle P has 1 arc. Angle T has 2 arcs. And angle W has 3 arcs. And that makes it easy to match up with the other triangle because I just looked for what angle has 1 arc. H. What angle had 2 arcs? G. What angle has 3 arcs? D. So that's, to me, that's the easiest way to write these congruent statements. Now the other 2 are just going to be modifications of these. Like if instead of PTW, I called the first triangle TPW. TPW, that's a totally fine way to do that. All right, T had 2 arcs in it, so that matches up with G. P had 1 arc, so that matches up with H. And then D will be last because that had 3 arcs. And I can also name this triangle, let's do 3, 2, 1. WTP. 3 arcs to 2 arcs to 1 arc. And then very simply, I can do 3 arcs is D, 2 arcs is G, 1 arc is H. So those are 3 ways you can write these congruent statements. I believe there's actually 6 different ways to write the congruent statements because there's 3 letters. Yeah, they are permutations. So there's 6 different permutations. So we can do it. All right, but let's move on. Those are just 3 that work for me. All right, we have triangle ABE is congruent to triangle MNP. Now remember, order is essential in this. So the first angle listed, A, will correspond with the first angle listed in the other one, M. Angle B is the second one listed. That will be congruent to angle N, the second one listed in the right triangle. And then angle E is congruent to angle P. All right, I'm just looking at the statement. That's what I got. Now the sides, I guess the sides take a little bit more, but AB will be one side, and that's going to go with MN. And remember, we're going to use line segments here, so I put the line segment on top and the congruent statement in between. All right, let's come up with another side. So BE should match up with NP. So segment BE will be congruent to segment NP. Cool, and finally, let's see, there we go. Finally, we can do the first and third. AE matches up with MP. And those are line segments that are congruent. If we didn't put the line segment in, you just say that we're equal. Like AE without the line on top is just the distance from A to E, and that will be equal to MP. But we have to say that they're congruent, so we're using line segments. All right, and the final thing it says, write another valid congruence statement. Okay, we could just shuffle up the letters here. Instead of ABE, I'll call the first triangle, let's see, do it in this color. Instead of ABE, triangle ABE, I will call it triangle EBA. This will give me a nice simple way to write this. And then P and M. Excellent. That's one of the other valid congruence statement. There should be 4 others that also work. Okay, let's look at this. So I'm going to list all the angles in the left triangle, Q, R, and Y. Q, angle Q, I should say, angle R, and angle Y. And I know those will match up with J, L, and S in the second triangle in order. So Q is first, J is first, J, L, and S. It's the fastest way I know of to do that. All right, now for the sides. I'm just going to list all 3 sides in Q, R, Y. So Q, R, R, Y, and then the first third, Q, Y. And those are congruent to JL, the first 2, and then LS, the last 2, and then JS, because that's the first and third. And what's another way I can write this? I'll get fancy. I will call this RY triangle RYQ is congruent to R was the second one, so that matches up with L. Y matches up with S, and Q matches up with J. LS, J. All right, so far, so good. Okay, they gave you a diagram. I don't care at all about the diagram. In fact, I could just cross it out and everything would be fine. Everything I need to know from this to answer these questions, I can learn from the congruence statement up here. So, for example, TU. TU is the second and third. That should match up with LM. So LM, segment LM. M, which is the third listed, that corresponds with angle U. And then we have triangle UST. So what should I do here for this? UST I'm going to say that's 1, 2, 3. U, then S, then T. Will match up with 2, 3, 1. I'll make it a color that's more legible. Triangle. U matches up with M. S matches up with K. And T matches up with 3L. MKL. Not bad, right? All right, so KM. KM is the first and the third from all of these. So KM, first and third, and then SU would be also the first third. Angle T matches up with angle L, and triangle TUS matches up with triangle LMK. Segment LK, second then first is TS. Segment TS. And then angle UST, they used a 3 vertice naming technique for an angle. So UST is 3, the third term, the first term, and the second term. So I'll call that angle third term, first term, second term. MKL. Moving right along. And I didn't use the diagram for that at all. Okay. So we got a little bit to do here. So we need the distance from C to M. And I'll notice from over here, CM is a second and third. It should be whatever Y to R is, and Y to R is 11. You can see that right here. So YR is 11. That means CM, because these are congruent, exactly the same size, CM will also be 11 meters. And then we have BM. So first and third, that should go with ZR, first and third, and ZR is 15 meters. And then finally we have YZ. Okay, YZ is the second and the first, and that should go with CB, which is 8 meters. Now we have to find some angle measures. So the measure of angle B, which is the first one, should be the same as the measure of angle Z. Z is 45 degrees, so B will also be 45 degrees. And then the measure of angle M is over here. That matches up with angle R. And we don't know angle R either. However, we do know some things about this diagram. For example, I know that the measure of angle Y is going to be 103 because it matches up with C. So that will be 103. I can write in that answer. And M will be the same as R. So if Z is 45 and Y is 103, well, together that's 148. And we know that all three angles in a triangle add up to 180. So 180 minus 48 is 32 degrees. So angle R is going to be 32 degrees. That's what's left over. Not only that, also angle M will be 32 degrees. Because this one's 45. And those three angles have to add up to 180 degrees. So this is 32. And now we know everything about those two triangles, all the missing sides. All right, thank you very much. Good luck.